Alright, solving proportions here today. We have 10 times 6, 3 times x. This first one is pretty straightforward. Everyone knows the name of the game here is cross multiplying. So I'll just highlight those for us, and then we'll write it out. Change the color here, get us a little green for some fun. And what do we have? We have 3 times x equals 6 times 10. So we have what? 3x equals 60 divided by 3 on both sides. And the 3's cancel over here. We have x equals 20. On our second example here, things get a little more interesting for us because now we see that we have multiplying some x's going on. So let's see here. We'll make that green. We'll show that, hey, you know what? We're going to do 3x times 5x, of course. And we're still going to keep this the same, I guess, 6 times 10. Change this color to blue this time. Write this guy out. So we have what? 3x times 5x equals 10 times 6. So first things first, what are we going to do? Multiply 3 times 5. Not too bad there. That's 15. Next step, we have x times x, and we all have to remember that we now have x squared. That's going to equal 6 times 10, still 60. Next step, what do? Take the square root, divide by 15. Well, I hope you all remember, we divide by 15. We want to get the 15 out of there first. So divide by 15 on both sides. We end up with what? X squared over here, that equals 4. Now we're set to take the square root, so we can cancel that. Take the square root of both sides, cancels out that there, and we will have x equals 2. Not to forget in this case that we're taking a square root that it's actually plus or minus 2. Positive 2 times positive 2 is 4. Negative 2 times a negative 2 is also 4. Okay, example number 3. Wow, it gets a little more interesting. Not only do we have x's across from each other here, but we have x plus 7s. We have an expression. So we don't want to forget, first things first, we're going to put some parentheses around those guys there, just so we write them out that way in a minute. And we will cross multiply. I am not going to highlight that because it'll look nice and ugly with the green parentheses for us. But we'll change it to red here, and we'll write that out. So we have what? Parentheses, x plus 7. Close it. Do another one, x plus 7 over there. And those guys equal 9 times 25. Well, that would be easy enough over there. But what in the world do we do with the x plus 7 times x plus 7? Well, easiest route here when they're the same, right, is just as 5 times 5, right, is 5 squared. Just another way of writing that. We're going to do the same thing over here with the x plus 7. So x plus 7 in parentheses, and we'll square it, and that signifies both of them. And that will then equal 225. 9 times 25. Now, we're like the previous problem, really. We're really just set to take the square root of both sides, because that'll cancel out that and that, and we will be very simply left with x plus 7 equals 15. Well, at this point, it's not just 15, right? We did that earlier on the previous problem. It was plus or minus 4. In this problem, it's also plus or minus 15. And what we must do now is write two different equations out. So here we have x plus 7 equals positive 15, and x plus 7 equals the negative 15. And we'll just solve both of those by subtracting 7 from both sides. So we have x equals 8 on this side, subtracting our 7 again over here, canceling them out. X equals negative 22 over here. That's okay. We could have both answers. If we were asking you to substitute it back in, only one of them would probably work.